Joining me now is an old buddy who I've been meaning to catch up with for ages, and I finally nailed him down. He is the busiest man in cricket. So let's just say hi and welcome to Mr. Donovan Miller.
Hi, Darren. How are you doing? Yeah, good to finally catch up with you, and thanks for having me on board this afternoon.
Good. First of all, I've got to ask, where are you? Because every time I see you on Instagram, you're in some different location. Where are you right now?
Actually, I'm sitting in my back room in England. So yeah, a little bit chilly here, but I'm in England as we speak. Yeah.
I've got to say, you are one of the best Instagrammers. You're like the modern breed of cricketer, cricket coach, how cricket should be, being relevant and in tune with the times. And anyone listening or watching this, you must follow Donovan on Instagram because it's always good value. Always good, but you see the lifestyle of the modern man.
I'm not sure if I'm that good on there. I've just tried to promote what I do, and that's it, really. So I'm glad that it's coming out positive.
Lots of fitness videos as well. Working hard in the gym.
Yeah, the older you get, you try and stay as healthy as you can. So, and fitness is a part of a lifestyle. So I try and stay as fit as I can.
You do. So you're just back from the United States. So tell us about what you've been doing out there.
So it's I think I think that's the type of market now where cricket is heading at the moment. So after we finished CPL, I've been approached by a couple of league organizers to be one of the coaches in I think it was a league that was happening in Jersey, the American Premier League. So I went there, and it was a different part of the world in terms of cricket. The games were played in a baseball stadiums, and it was quite chilly. And even similar to around Essex area. It reminds me of there in the nighttime. But we managed to win that little competition, and I've been invited back out there again to go back in the US Open, which is happening starting next week, really.
What's the participation? I know the CPL have dipped a toe in the American market by playing in Florida in the past. And from what I've seen, and when I've been out to the Caribbean and watched cricket, in America, there seems to be is it mainly an expat interest, or do you think there are local Americans that are trying to get in touch with cricket?
So, as you know, the America is very close to the Caribbean, so I think most of the lads from the Caribbean, they do go and apply their trade there. It's only a 3 hour flights from any destination in the Caribbean. So there's a lot of Caribbean heritage there, and also a massive South Asian population all over America. So there's a lot of guys, from India, Bangladesh community, Pakistani community, and that type of stuff. Sri Lankans. And their children now he's been brought up there, and so the cricket market out there is massively.
Guyanese too,
yeah, all Caribbean. yeah.
That's good. And so you mentioned the CPL. Now you've had a good track record out there. Just which teams have you been involved with? I know you've been involved for a long time with this CPL. What teams have you been involved with?
Yeah, I've been involved with a few teams. Jamaica, St. Kitts, and St. Lucia. Those are the 3 franchises I've been involved with over the last 7 years, 7 seasons of CPL, and I've been quite luckily to be involved in some success. Some of those teams.
Don't be so modest, man. Have you won with all of those? Have you won the CPL with all of those 3?
So let me go back here. So I've been to 2 finals with Jamaica, 1-1. St. Kitts, 2 finals as well, 1-1, and St. Lucia 1 final. So that's it. Yeah, so I've been in finals with other teams. Yeah,
and of course with the universe boss, your big mate, Mr. Chris Gale. He's still enjoying himself in the CPL, isn't he?
It's quite funny enough. I haven't spoke to him for a while now because he's been obviously busy. Looking at, I think the best place to find him these days is on Instagram. So I haven't spoke to him for a while, but you could see that as I've been watching his stories on Instagram, and he's looked like he's enjoying his life, which is rightfully so out in Dubai.
Mr. Punjabi Daddy.
Yeah.
Well, I've been playing his tunes on the show because it's just pure entertainment for me, and I just love it. And the videos and everything. The Rich Life.
I haven't played any of his tunes yet, but definitely been watching his Instagram story.
He's been watching too much Snoop Doggy Dogg. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's still going and he's still popular in the franchise cricket. Every time I think he's going to give up, he pops up. He's still massively in demand, isn't he? Even if, you know, the international stage is maybe gone now, but franchise cricket still wants him.
Well, I mean, look, franchise cricket these days are marketing, and marketing. So, and Chris is a massive marketing tool. So, apart from his cricket, I think a lot of people, I think he's going to be around for a little while in terms of marketing. So yes, a lot of teams and franchise would want him to be a part of that business because it's a massive business.
And he's doing his foundation as well, which I know you're a part of that. And people don't necessarily know the good stuff that Chris does away from all the razzmatazz. And the Chris Gale Foundation is an important part of what he does, isn't it?
Yeah, that's important things. He does give a lot back, and something he doesn't really spoke about, but yeah, he's really good in terms of giving back to the community.
Yeah. So franchise cricket is really popular, and it seems to be non-stop at the moment. We've got the T10 that's just getting underway in Abu Dhabi, where Chris is taking part. We've got the Big Bash coming up, etc., etc., etc. It seems to be fairly non-stop. This is kind of like how the game is going, but do you think it's a big threat to traditional red ball cricket?
Absolutely not. I don't think so. For example, in England here where we live, I mean, the season is only about 6 to 7 months really. So there's a whole winter, of other cricket happening, and it's great for players to go away and play in different conditions and develop different skills, and it's better for cricket in general. So I can't see, I think most of the better players now in even franchise cricket, they're really good red ball players. So I don't think it's affecting red ball cricket in any capacity.
Yeah, it's. I think people will still want to play that, even if they are, like you say, they're good at T20 or whatever else. They'll still the pure form of the game is still the red ball game, isn't it?
Absolutely, you still have to have a good technique to, and you still have to do the basics when you're in the field and when you bowl. So it's just the education around younger players to make sure that they understand that they still need to develop those basic skills as well, because the good players do those basics very well.
You got any thoughts on the West Indies? I was disappointed with their World Cup performance, and talking to a few friends from the Caribbean, they were a bit, like when you start talking to Caribbean people about cricket, it gets very animated and people start cussing and shouting all the time. The general feeling was that the team selection was wrong, and that was why they didn't do as well as they should have done. You got any feelings on the West Indies at the World Cup?
Well, I mean, look, you could argue to say it's been a tough campaign for them, and probably they would have feel like they underachieved coming in as the favourites. But that's sports, and cricket for it was tricky conditions, and the conditions didn't suit the West Indian style of play. They gone in with a plan how they've been successful, and sometimes you don't need to go away from that, but it just didn't work out for them this time, and that's cricket for you. So I'm sure there's a lot of talent in the Caribbean, and they will move away from this, and there's take a lot of learning. And the good thing is there's another World Cup happening, I think at the end of next year or close to the end of next year. So they will be back.
Yeah, agreed. That's a good point, that there is another one coming soon. And yeah, holding it in, if it had been held in India, it might have been a different story because it was originally supposed to be there, but they moved it because of COVID.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing that I find when I talk to people about West Indian cricket is they say, oh, people there aren't interested anymore. But every time I go back, I don't see anything but cricket being played everywhere. You go to any field, there are clubs everywhere. You go into any bar, people will quite happily talk about cricket. The interest levels are there. There used to be this thing that everyone goes and plays basketball, but I don't think that's true, is it?
I think because in the Caribbean, it's such an athletic islands. I think the youngsters there, they're so athletic and always moving around. So picking up a bat and a ball has always come natural to them first. So even if they're involved in other sports, I don't think cricket is something they will find difficult to take up.
What's your road tennis game like?
Tennis.
Road tennis. Have you seen
road
that?
Tennis. I'm not sure if I played road tennis, but I play a lot of road cricket.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of road tennis when I go back. That seems to be the new thing. They just put a plank across the road and then bat and ball.
Yeah.
But like you say, yeah, people are active and it's a good thing. So, and why are all West Indians either Liverpool fans or Man U fans and like no one else in the world exists?
That's a very good question. I haven't really thought about it, but yeah, I mean, I couldn't answer that one, but maybe they're the powerhouse of football for a long period, and people always intend to support those type of teams.
Now let me ask you about coaching. To me, that seems to be the thing. The game's evolved a lot in the last 20 years, and a large factor of that evolution has been the importance of coaching. Nutrition, exercise, looking after yourself. It never used to be such a big thing 20 years ago, but it seems to have come on apace. You've been coaching through that time and been kind of involved with that change. What's the story behind that?
I think it's as you said, it's the modern days, athlete now. It's about there's so much cricket playing, and so it's all about getting stronger so you could last and do your job for a long period of times longer. And it's also, I think nowadays it's also a look. You can see the players now, they like to look good and they like to feel good. So the shirts are getting smaller, the trousers are getting tighter, and they want to look good in those. So yeah, no, but I think so it's
I've always had that. My shirt has always been tight. Yeah, that's true though, because yeah, that's a good point. Because when you watch like England from even 2005, they're all wearing like baggy shirts that are flowing in the wind and everything. But yeah, these days, no, all fitted and yeah.
I know the boys definitely like to go for one size smaller. So yeah, they'll it's an image thing though. It's that's how they make their living. It's advertising, so they want to look the part. And so it's not just about getting fit for the sports, but also the looks as well is an important thing. The image, yeah.
Well, that's it, because it's Instagram now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I know you're involved with as well as me in the ACE program, which is going from strength to strength. It seems to be it's only been going a year, but the progress over that year is incredible. And to me, it seems like they are ticking a lot of boxes in terms of how coaching and encouraging the youngsters in the community to get involved and how to conduct themselves. It's a whole, it's not just about playing, it's about how you conduct yourself, how you behave, etc., etc. What are your thoughts? I mean, is this something that was necessary, that it had to happen, or is it just just a brilliant idea that Ebony and Chevy have come up with?
I think it's another tricky topic because I think the ACE is just a start of something that could be a wider and could be greater. I mean, I couldn't tell you the numbers at the top of my head, but obviously, we know that there's no cricket in state schools, so young people from the Afro-Caribbean community, they doesn't really get that opportunity. So a program like ACE will give those guys those opportunities. And I know it's about trying to get some of those guys into the professional system. That might not happen straight away now, but if the program continues, who knows, in the next 3 to 4 years you might see a couple of guys a couple more guys come through the system. So I think Ebbs and Chevy has done an absolutely brilliant job, and you know, they're very passionate about that program, and I think it's only going to go from strength to strength.
And they've got all the support of various other superstars. Denise Lewis was down there the other night, wasn't she?
Yeah, it was nice that you know, Denise, you know, come along and, you know, have a little Q&A with the kids, and also share some of her stories and some of her training, and, you know, dietitian and diet movements and stuff like that, and the movements and the patterns. I did have a great conversation with her in terms of her training pattern and stuff like that. So it's always good to have people like that, you know, just from a different sports, and who has been you know, very successful at what they do.
She's very inspirational as well. She gave a really good talk to the guys about how to inspire them and to achieve their best.
Absolutely. She's that type of individual, and she's achieved a lot. So you know, when she speaks, I think, you know, the parents and the kids do listen. So I'm sure they have taken a lot from what she have said, and some of them are already gone home with those. And I hope she has inspired most of those kids to develop their training and their lifestyle.
The other good thing that the program is doing is, yeah, I'm sure they will find some future stars on the cricket field, but they're also pointing them in the career of sport, i.e. not just being a player, but being a coach like yourself, or administrator, or, you know, there are so many opportunities, physios, nutritionists, whatever. Sport's a big business these days. Absolutely.
And one of the big things is, you know, just like, you know, if you go back to, you know, I don't know if you probably play when you're younger, Darren, is everyone's dream and everyone's aspiration is to be a cricketer, but sometimes it doesn't happen that way for many particularly reasons. And sometimes you find, young people, you know, they quit the sports because, you know, they have a disappointment. So it's about, you know, make sure that education process is channeled and towards those young people, to let them understand that, you know, okay, it's okay if you don't become a first class cricketer, but, you know, we still would like to see you continue, because you have a lot more to offer to the sports than just being playing. And if you do be one of the lucky ones who get a break and go all the way, then we can support you with that too.
So when you were a youngster, and who were your sporting heroes when you were a young kid getting into sport?
Well, mine was slightly different. You know, I didn't know what I want to do. I used to just play lots of sports, really. You know, a bit of track and field, a bit of basketball, a bit of football on the streets, lots of cricket, anywhere I could play. You know, I just watched loads of sports. So I would watch a bit of football. If someone was good at football, I would watch him. Someone who was good at basketball. But in terms of cricket, I was more gravitated to someone like Walker Eunice and these guys, you know, because those guys they used to do things that kind of special when they bowl, you know. And those are the guys I kind of used to watch, because, you know, at that time, you know, I think it was the Walsh and the Ambrose days, and, you know, they were 6 foot whatever, and I was only a little guy, so I used to more find the littler guys who is not that tall interested and want to be like them. And then a little bit of Malcolm Marshall, I would say. I think, you know, I used to watch Malcolm bowl. Yeah, so those type of characters in terms of cricket. But in terms of sports, as I said, you know, I watch every sports, and you know, anyone who was doing something special, I always like to follow their careers.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good listening to those guys that you mentioned. It's interesting because at that time, especially the Pakistani bowlers, were really bringing something different to the table. There was the first time you really saw reverse swing and the kind of the full pace Yorkers that they used to bowl. And West Indies was always about pure pace and you know, aggressive. But those bowlers you mentioned about were definitely something that brought a different style.
Absolutely. I used to love watching them as a kid. You know, and we used to go away, and you know, back home we used to we used to practice, you know, because the surface that we play and didn't bounce, and we didn't have the strength to bowl the bouncers, but we could bowl full, so we'll practice to get. And the ball that we used to play with, probably about 200 over all anyway. So we'd have to learn these new skills, you know, to try and swing it and try and bowl the Yorkers. So I used to try and copy those guys. You know, we used to copy those guys.
Yeah. So You're going to have a restful Christmas. You're doing nothing over Christmas, and then busy again in the new year.
Actually, I'm heading out to the States and then over Christmas for the US Open. So yeah, and then the New Year's, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen. There's always 10 things happening in my life, and you know, in terms of coaching, you know, there's always opportunities everywhere, and then, you know, nothing is confirmed. You just hope to confirm something when sooner the date. You know, I mean, since COVID, that's how the world has been like. So
yeah. Sure. Sure. Well, listen, have a great Christmas. It's great to catch up with you. I'm sure I'll see you very soon. But many thanks for joining us on 98 Now, Mr. Donovan Miller.
Thank you, Darren, for having me, and have a good day.